Hello, my friend. Tonight, we're traveling back to a time when the world was much quieter than it is today. Before electric lights filled every street, before glowing phone screens, before late-night television, the night belonged to darkness. Take a slow, deep breath. Imagine standing in a small European village about 700 years ago. The sun has just disappeared behind the hills. A cool breeze moves through the fields. The last birds have stopped singing, and the sky slowly fills with thousands of bright stars. There are no cars, no airplanes, no distant sirens. Only the soft sound of crickets, the rustling of leaves, and the occasional hoot of an owl somewhere in the forest. The villagers know that once darkness arrives, the day is almost over. Without electricity, there is very little to do after sunset. Candles are expensive. Oil lamps burn precious fuel. Firewood must be saved for warmth and cooking. So families gather around the fireplace for one final conversation before bedtime. A mother quietly mends a piece of clothing. A father sharpens a farming tool for tomorrow's work. Children yawn as they lean against their parents, their eyelids becoming heavier every minute. Soon, one by one, everyone prepares for bed. Their beds are very different from ours today. Most are simple wooden frames filled with straw, covered by rough blankets made from wool or linen. The room is cold during winter and warm during summer. Yet people accept these conditions as part of everyday life. Outside, darkness completely covers the village. There are no streetlights to push it away. The moon becomes the only light for travelers brave enough to continue their journey. Many people fear the night, not only because of wild animals, but because old stories speak of ghosts, witches, and mysterious spirits wandering after midnight. Whether those stories are true or not hardly matters. People believe them. That belief shapes the rhythm of life. As the fire grows smaller, the family says their evening prayers. The candles are gently blown out. The house becomes silent. Within minutes, everyone falls asleep. This is called the first sleep. For centuries, this was one of the most natural parts of daily life. No one questioned it. No one imagined that hundreds of years later, people would sleep in a completely different way. But something unusual is about to happen. Almost everyone in the village will wake up, not because of a loud noise, not because of a nightmare, simply because that was how many people naturally slept. And in the next part of our journey, we'll discover what happened during those peaceful midnight hours. Until then, close your eyes, relax your shoulders, let your breathing become slower, and drift gently into the quiet embrace of history.
If you're already feeling sleepy, then you're exactly where you should be. The fire has almost burned down to glowing red embers. Outside, the village is wrapped in complete darkness. Only the moon and the stars watch over the sleeping world. Several hours have passed since everyone closed their eyes. Then, without any alarm clock, without any loud noise, without any panic, people begin to wake. One by one, eyes slowly open. A farmer stretches beneath his wool blanket. An elderly woman quietly sits up. A young mother checks on her sleeping baby. Nobody is surprised. This is not a bad night's sleep. To them, this is simply the space between the first sleep and the second sleep. For about an hour, sometimes even 2, many people remain peacefully awake. The house is almost silent. The only sounds are the soft crackle of the fireplace and the gentle wind brushing against the wooden walls. No one rushes. There is nowhere to be. No morning meetings, no ringing phones, no endless notifications. Life moves slowly. Some people kneel beside their beds and whisper evening prayers. Others quietly think about the day that has passed and the work waiting for them after sunrise. A few people light a tiny candle and read from a treasured book. Books are rare and expensive, so those who own one treat it with great care. Outside, the village is still asleep. The streets are empty. The cool night air carries the smell of damp earth and fresh grass. Sometimes a dog barks in the distance. Sometimes an owl calls from the forest. Everything else remains peaceful. For many couples, this quiet time is special. With the children asleep and the world completely calm, they finally have a chance to talk without interruption. They speak softly about their hopes, their worries, their family, or simply enjoy the silence together. Historians believe that many families considered these midnight hours the most peaceful part of the entire day. It was a time without noise, without pressure, without hurry. As the minutes pass, their eyes slowly grow heavy once again. The fire becomes weaker. The candle burns lower. The room feels warmer beneath the blankets. Without forcing themselves to sleep, without counting sheep, they naturally drift into their second sleep. This second sleep carries them gently toward the first light of dawn. Tomorrow will begin with birds singing, animals calling, and another long day of work. But for now, the village rests peacefully beneath the stars. Take one slow breath. Relax your body. Imagine yourself inside that quiet little cottage, safe and warm, with nothing to do except rest. And let history softly carry you back to sleep.
The night is still young, and the world around us remains wonderfully quiet. The moon hangs high above the village, casting a gentle silver light across the rooftops and narrow dirt roads. Inside the small cottages, many people are awake, but not because they cannot sleep. This peaceful time between the first and second sleep has become part of their daily rhythm. For a farmer, these quiet hours are often a chance to check the fire. A few small pieces of wood are carefully placed onto the glowing embers. The warm orange light slowly fills the room once again. The family remains asleep, breathing softly beneath thick wool blankets. The farmer smiles, knowing there is still time before dawn. In another home, an elderly woman quietly spins wool into thread. Her hands move slowly and skillfully, just as they have done for many years. There is no rush, no deadline, only the peaceful rhythm of simple work. Across the village, a baker has already awakened. His day begins long before sunrise. He kneads fresh dough while the streets remain silent. Soon the smell of warm bread will drift through the village as people begin their morning. Near the edge of town, a monk walks quietly through the stone halls of a monastery. Many monasteries followed a nightly routine of prayer. The monks believed these silent hours were perfect for reflection. The chapel is lit by only a few candles. Soft voices rise gently as ancient prayers echo through the cool stone walls. Outside, the stars shine brightly above them. Not everyone stays indoors. Sometimes a village watchman slowly walks along the empty streets. He carries a lantern and a wooden staff. His job is simple: watch for fire, watch for thieves, watch for anything unusual. Most nights, nothing happens at all. Only silence follows him wherever he goes. Travelers, however, rarely enjoy these peaceful hours. Roads are dark. Forests seem endless. Without modern lights, even a familiar path can feel mysterious. Many travelers stop at small inns before sunset, choosing safety over the unknown darkness. As the night continues, people begin to feel sleepy once again. Their conversations become quieter. Their movements become slower. One by one, candles are gently blown out. The glowing fireplace fades into darkness. Families return to their beds without worry. No one thinks they have a sleeping problem. To them, waking during the night is as natural as watching the sunrise. Only many centuries later would people begin to believe that sleeping through the entire night was the only correct way to sleep. History tells a different story. For hundreds of years, the quiet hours between two sleeps were simply another peaceful part of everyday life. Now, imagine yourself lying beside a warm fireplace. Outside, the wind whispers through the trees. The stars slowly cross the night sky. Your breathing becomes calm. Your eyelids grow heavier. And just like the people of long ago, you gently drift into your second sleep. Good night, and let the peaceful rhythm of history carry you into restful dreams.
Our peaceful village has remained almost unchanged for centuries. The sun rises, people work in the fields, children laugh as they run through narrow paths. The evening arrives, and once again, darkness gently covers the land. For generations, life follows the same quiet rhythm. First sleep, a peaceful awakening, then second sleep. No one imagines that this ancient tradition is about to disappear. But far away, something new is beginning. In growing towns and busy cities, people discover better ways to light the night. First come better oil lamps. Then gas lamps appear along city streets. For the first time, darkness no longer ends the day. Shops stay open later. People gather in cafes after sunset. Writers continue working long into the evening. Musicians perform late into the night. The world slowly becomes busier. Years later, an even greater change arrives: electricity. With the flip of a switch, homes become bright even after midnight. Families no longer feel sleepy soon after sunset. Children read books late into the evening. Workers finish extra tasks. Friends visit one another well into the night. The old rhythm begins to fade. Factories also change people's lives. Unlike farms, factories do not follow the rising and setting of the sun. Instead, they follow clocks. Workers must arrive at exactly the same time every morning. Sleeping in two parts no longer fits this new schedule. Little by little, people try to sleep through the entire night. Doctors begin to describe uninterrupted sleep as the new normal. Within only a few generations, the ancient habit of first sleep and second sleep is almost forgotten. Then something unexpected happens. Modern people sometimes wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning. They look at the clock. They become worried. Why can't I sleep? But perhaps their bodies are remembering something very old. Some historians and sleep researchers believe that waking naturally during the night may once have been completely ordinary. Our ancestors probably didn't fight against it. They accepted it. They rested quietly, and when sleep returned, they simply closed their eyes again. There was no pressure, no stress, no glowing phone screen asking for attention. Only silence, only patience, only time. Tonight, as you rest, imagine those peaceful centuries before electric lights filled the sky. A world where stars were brighter, where nights were darker, where people listened to the wind instead of notifications, where sleep came gently, twice each night. Take another slow breath. Let your muscles relax. Feel your body becoming heavier. The ancient world grows quieter with each passing moment. The fire is almost gone out. The stars continue their slow journey across the heavens, and somewhere in that peaceful village, everyone is sleeping once again. Good night.
Tonight, let us quietly step inside a small medieval home. The sun has already disappeared beyond the hills. A cool evening breeze drifts through the tiny wooden window. The house is simple. The walls are made of rough timber and clay. The roof is covered with straw that gently rustles whenever the wind passes by. There are no electric lights, no television, no humming refrigerator, only the warm glow of a small fireplace in the center of the room. This single fire does almost everything. It cooks the family's meals, it warms the house during cold nights, it provides enough light for the evening. A large black cooking pot hangs above the flames. Tonight's dinner is modest, perhaps a thick vegetable soup, a piece of dark bread, maybe a little cheese if the family is fortunate. Meat is rare for most ordinary people. It is saved for special celebrations. After supper, wooden bowls are carefully cleaned. Nothing is wasted. Even the smallest piece of bread is saved for tomorrow. The children begin to yawn. Their parents smile softly. It has been a long day of farming, carrying water, feeding animals, and repairing tools. Everyone is tired. The father places another small log onto the fire. Tiny sparks float upward before disappearing into the darkness. The mother quietly whispers a bedtime prayer. The children climb into a simple straw mattress. It is not soft like modern beds. Sometimes the straw pokes through the fabric. Sometimes the blanket is thin. Yet, after a full day of hard work, sleep comes quickly. Outside, the village grows completely silent. The only sounds are distant crickets, a gentle breeze, and somewhere far away, the soft hoot of an owl. The stars above are incredibly bright. Without city lights, the Milky Way stretches across the night sky like a glowing river. For the people below, these stars are familiar companions. Some travelers use them to find their way. Some children dream about them. Some simply admire their quiet beauty. Inside the cottage, the fire burns lower. Warm orange light dances across the wooden walls. Slowly, one by one, everyone falls into their first sleep. Hours later, as always, they wake naturally. No one is frightened.
The father quietly checks the fire. The mother adjusts a blanket over her youngest child. For a few peaceful moments, the family enjoys the deep silence that only the middle of the night can offer. Then, without hurry, without worry, they lie down once again. The second sleep begins. Outside, the moon slowly moves across the sky. Morning is still far away. The world feels peaceful, safe, unhurried. Imagine yourself there, wrapped in a warm blanket, listening to the gentle crackling of the fire, breathing slowly, feeling completely relaxed. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do, only the quiet rhythm of an ancient night and the comforting promise of peaceful sleep. Good night, dear friend. May your dreams be as calm as this little medieval home beneath the stars.
The village is asleep once again. Behind every wooden door, families rest peacefully beneath warm blankets. The fireplaces glow softly. The stars quietly shine above. But not everyone is asleep. Some people have important work to do while the rest of the world dreams. Let us begin with the night watchman. He walks slowly through the empty streets, carrying a small lantern in one hand and a wooden staff in the other. His footsteps are gentle. Tap, tap, tap. The sound echoes through the silent village. His job is simple. He watches for danger. A forgotten candle could start a fire. A wandering thief might try to steal food or animals. A frightened horse could escape its stable. Most nights, however, nothing unusual happens. The watchman simply walks beneath the stars, enjoying the cool night air. He knows every house, every tree, every narrow path. The village feels like an old friend. Far beyond the village stands a quiet stone monastery. Its tall walls protect a peaceful community of monks. While most people sleep, the monks wake for prayer. A small bell rings softly through the darkness. Its sound is calm and gentle. One by one, the monks leave their simple beds. Without speaking, they walk through long stone corridors lit by candles. Their robes quietly brush across the floor. Inside the chapel, they gather together. The room is cool and silent. Only candlelight flickers against the ancient walls. Their voices rise together in slow, peaceful prayer. The words are ancient. The melody is simple. The sound drifts softly into the quiet night. For the monks, these hours are not lonely. They are sacred. They believe the silence of the night brings them closer to peace. Meanwhile, far away from the monastery, a traveler continues his journey. His horse walks slowly along a narrow dirt road. The moon provides just enough light to see the path ahead. Tall trees stand quietly on both sides. The forest seems endless. Every small sound feels larger in the darkness. A branch snaps, leaves rustle. Perhaps it is only a rabbit, perhaps a deer. The traveler gently pats his horse's neck and continues forward. Traveling at night is never easy. There are no road signs, no street lights, no maps on a glowing screen. Only memory, the stars, and hope. After many hours, he notices a warm light shining in the distance. An inn. Smoke rises gently from its chimney. Inside, a few travelers sit quietly around the fire. Someone pours warm soup into wooden bowls.
Another person dries a wet cloak beside the flames. Nobody speaks loudly. Everyone is tired. Everyone is grateful for shelter. Soon the traveler finds a small bed beneath a thick blanket. He closes his eyes. Outside, the wind continues its quiet journey through the trees. The stars remain bright above the peaceful countryside. Across villages, monasteries, and lonely roads, night continues exactly as it has for hundreds of years. A world without electric lights, without busy highways, without endless noise. Only gentle silence, only slow breathing, only peaceful sleep. Now, take another slow breath. Feel your body becoming heavier. Imagine yourself resting beside a warm fireplace while the night watchman quietly walks beneath the stars. Everything is calm. Everything is still. And little by little, sleep gently finds you once again. Good night.
The night has grown even quieter. The stars seem brighter now, scattered across the dark sky like tiny lanterns. The village sleeps peacefully. Only the wind moves gently between the cottages. Long ago, people believed that the night was more than just a time for rest. It was a mysterious world filled with stories, old beliefs, and quiet wonder. When someone had a strange dream, they rarely dismissed it. Many believed dreams carried messages. A dream about clear water might be a sign of good fortune. A dream about a storm could be a warning to stay cautious. Some people believed that dreaming of a loved one meant they were thinking of you, even from far away. Whether these beliefs were true or not did not matter very much. They brought comfort. They gave meaning to the unknown. Parents often shared these stories with their children before bedtime. The children listened with wide eyes. Sometimes they smiled. Sometimes they pulled their blankets a little closer. Yet the stories were never only about fear. Many spoke of kindness, of hope, of courage, of protecting one another. As the years passed, these tales became part of village life. Every family had a favorite story. Every grandmother had a different version. Outside, the moon slowly crossed the sky. Its pale light rested gently on fields, rivers, and forests. Without electric lights, the moon seemed much brighter than it does today. People often planned their evening walks around the full moon. Travel was easier. The roads were easier to see. Even the smallest stream reflected the silver light. During the quiet hours between the first and second sleep, some people would step outside for just a moment. They looked up at the endless sky. They admired the stars. Many had never traveled beyond the next village. Yet by looking upward, they felt connected to something much greater. The night reminded them how vast the world truly was. A cool breeze brushed across the fields. The smell of fresh grass filled the air. Somewhere nearby, a horse quietly shifted inside its stable. A sheep softly called from its pen. Then silence returned once again. Back inside the cottages, the fire had almost gone out. Only a few glowing embers remained. Their soft orange light gently danced across the wooden floor. The warmth was comforting. The silence was peaceful. People climbed back beneath their blankets. Their breathing became slower. Their thoughts became quieter. Soon, the second sleep welcomed them once more.
Hours later, the first rays of sunlight appeared beyond the hills. Birds began to sing. Roosters greeted the morning. Smoke slowly rose from chimneys as families prepared for another day. The long night had come to an end, but its gentle rhythm, its peaceful silence, and its forgotten way of sleeping would remain part of history for centuries. Now, as you rest comfortably, imagine the cool night air, the glowing fireplace, the quiet village beneath countless stars, and allow yourself to drift peacefully into sleep. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Only breathe slowly, relax completely, and let the calm of the ancient world carry you gently into beautiful dreams. Good night.
By now, the village has become familiar. The quiet cottages, the warm fireplaces, the peaceful stars overhead. For hundreds of years, this gentle rhythm of life remained almost unchanged. People fell asleep shortly after sunset. They rested for several peaceful hours. They woke naturally during the quiet middle of the night. Then, after a calm pause, they drifted into a second sleep until dawn. Today, this pattern might seem unusual, but what if it once felt completely natural? In the late 20th century, some historians began reading old diaries, letters, and medical writings from centuries ago. Again and again, they noticed the same curious phrases. People wrote about their first sleep and their second sleep as though everyone understood exactly what those words meant. No explanation was needed. It was simply part of everyday life. This discovery surprised many modern readers. Had an entire way of sleeping been forgotten? Some sleep researchers became curious. In carefully controlled experiments, volunteers spent long periods without electric lights or modern distractions. As the days passed, something interesting happened. Many naturally began sleeping in two separate periods, with a quiet hour or two of wakefulness in between. It wasn't true for everyone. Human sleep has always varied from person to person, but the results suggested that our bodies may be more flexible than we often imagine. Perhaps there has never been just one correct way to sleep. Our ancestors adapted to the world around them. We do the same today. The bright lights of cities, late-night work, television, computers, and phones glowing beside our beds all gently encourage us to stay awake longer than people once did. The world no longer grows dark after sunset. Instead, it remains awake. Even at midnight, many streets are filled with light. Shops remain open. Cars continue to move. Messages arrive every minute. The night has become almost as busy as the day. Yet, somewhere deep inside, the memory of slower evenings may still remain. Imagine living in a place where darkness truly meant rest, where no screen asked for your attention, where no alarm interrupted your dreams. Only the stars above, the quiet wind, and the comforting sound of a crackling fire. It is easy to understand why sleep arrived so gently. As our journey through history comes closer to its end, one lesson quietly remains. The people of the past were not rushing through every moment. They accepted silence. They accepted darkness. And when they woke during the night, they did not fear it. They simply trusted that sleep would return. Perhaps there is something peaceful in that old way of thinking. Not worrying, not forcing, just breathing slowly, closing your eyes, and letting the night unfold at its own gentle pace. Now, take one last slow, comfortable breath. Feel your body resting deeply. Imagine the ancient village fading softly into the distance. The stars grow dim as morning approaches. A new day
is waiting beyond the horizon. But for now, there is only peace, only quiet, only rest. Sleep well, dear friend, and thank you for joining this gentle journey through history. Good night.
The longest part of the night has passed. The stars still shine above the quiet village, but their light is beginning to fade. Far away, beyond the rolling hills, the first hint of dawn quietly touches the horizon. Inside the cottages, everyone remains asleep. Their second sleep has been deep and peaceful. The fireplaces are now little more than glowing embers. The air is cool. The silence is complete. Then, almost unnoticed, a single bird begins to sing. Its gentle song floats through the morning air. Soon another bird answers, then another. Little by little, the world begins to wake. The farmer slowly opens his eyes. He stretches his tired arms and smiles softly. There is no alarm clock, no loud ringtone, only the familiar sounds of nature welcoming a new day. His wife quietly folds the blankets. The children are still asleep, curled beneath thick wool covers. Outside, a rooster proudly announces the sunrise. Across the village, smoke begins rising from stone chimneys. Someone has already started a small cooking fire. The smell of fresh bread slowly drifts through the cool air. A baker has been awake for hours. His warm loaves are almost ready. Soon families will gather for breakfast. Simple food, fresh bread, warm porridge, perhaps a little cheese. Nothing fancy, yet enough to begin another peaceful day. The village slowly comes alive. A shepherd opens the gate to his sheep. The animals wander into the green fields. A blacksmith unlocks his workshop. Soon the familiar sound of his hammer will echo through the streets. Children laugh as they chase chickens across the yard. A cat stretches lazily in the morning sunshine. Everything moves slowly. No one rushes. No one stares at a clock. The rhythm of life follows the sun itself. For these people, yesterday is finished. Tomorrow can wait. Only today matters. As the hours pass, the memory of the peaceful night quietly fades. Yet tonight, after another day's work, the same gentle rhythm will return. The family will eat together. The fire will burn warmly. The candles will grow dim. The first sleep will begin. A quiet awakening will follow. Then the second sleep will carry them gently toward another sunrise. This cycle continues, not for days, not for weeks, but for generations. It becomes part of who they are. As you listen, imagine yourself walking through this peaceful village. The morning air is cool against your face. Birdsong fills the sky. Fresh bread scents the breeze. There is no hurry, no stress, only calm, only quiet, only the simple beauty of ordinary life. Take one slow breath. Feel yourself becoming lighter. Feel your thoughts becoming softer. The ancient village slowly disappears into the morning mist. And somewhere in the distance, the gentle rhythm of two peaceful sleeps continues forever. Good night, or perhaps good morning.
Our journey through history is almost complete. For a little while, we left behind the bright lights of the modern world. Together, we walked along quiet village roads. We listened to the gentle crackle of warm fireplaces. We watched countless stars shine above peaceful cottages, and we discovered a forgotten way of sleeping that once felt completely natural. Perhaps the greatest lesson from this journey is not simply about 2 sleeps. It is about a slower way of living, a life where people accepted the rhythm of nature. They rose with the sun. They rested after sunset. They did not hurry through every moment. They allowed silence to exist. They welcomed darkness instead of fearing it. And when they woke in the middle of the night, they did not become anxious. They trusted that sleep would return in its own time. In many ways, the night itself became a gentle companion. The wind whispered through the trees. The stars watched quietly from above. The moon softly illuminated empty roads and quiet fields. Nothing demanded attention. Nothing interrupted the peaceful silence. Tonight, as you rest comfortably, imagine that you are standing one last time on a small hill overlooking the ancient village. Every cottage is quiet. Thin trails of smoke rise gently into the cool night air.